Thanks for joining me day 2 of Fall Prevention Week with Aurora Independence, the mobile outpatient clinic here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So what are we talking about today? I think what we're going to chit chat about is the risk for falls. So yesterday we kind of discussed the facts of falls, how much money we're going to spend, who's going to fall, and what OTs can do to help. But today we want to find out what's your risk factors. Now, here's my disclaimer. None of the information that I'm about to go over should ever replace the advice of your doctor. So if you notice that you have any of these risks, do me a huge favor, get off this video, go and call your primary care doctor right away. If you don't have one, think about getting one. There's a lot of virtual options now, especially with COVID and also just in general, that insurance companies are approving. So sometimes it's as easy as a phone call. It's a lot easier to prevent a fall than it is to recover from one. So prevention is key, and it is the #1 thing that we as healthcare professionals would like to do. So there's 2 different types of risk factors. One is intrinsic. Those are things that are to the person, they're internal, they're not as readily changed. And we also have extrinsic factors. Those are things that are usually environmental and more readily modified. So what are your intrinsic factors? Unfortunately, age. Once we hit 65, we are at a higher risk to fall. It's just part of the aging process. Additionally, how many falls have you had within the last, especially 6 months, but even within the last couple years? The more falls you've had, the more at risk you are. What kind of weakness do you have? So for some of us, we've had chronic injuries. So I have rheumatoid arthritis. My right hand isn't my strongest hand. It's also my dominant hand. So I have to consider that when I'm considering my tasks and how I'm going to live my life. If you've had a stroke, Parkinson's, or multiple sclerosis, you may have chronic weakness that you're very aware of. And additionally, I want you guys to think about your vision. Vision's a big one. When was the last time that you actually went to an eye doctor? If it's been more than 6 months to a year, get on it. Our vision changes as we get older. It just does. I don't care how healthy you are. I don't care how much you exercise or how good you eat. Our vision changes and our need for light changes. Next, what's your clutter like? Now, I call it clutter. For you, it might be personal items. It could be, where do you store your shoes? How about those recycled newspapers or even your magazines? Where do the grandkids' toys get stored? For me, it's, where is my dog dropping his bones? These are all fall factors. Next, I want you to think about active medications if you are on any. Again, go talk to your doctor. If you have any of these medications, make sure you reach out to them and let them know that you're concerned about falling. Maybe there's a change they can make. Potentially there isn't. Again, it's a thing to take stock of and keep it in your mental tally so that you know what your risk factors are. Now, the last one's a little personal to most people. How many people watching have ever been recommended for a cane or a walker, and hodgepodge, that's for old people? I hear it all the time. I get it. You don't want to advertise a disability or an imbalance. However, if you're not using your cane or your walker or your crutches properly, it can actually increase your risk of falls rather than helping you. So if you have one of those pesky canes and you're not using it, feel free to reach out to your doctor or a therapist and ask them to teach you ways to use it. I want to leave you with this little bit of a note. I don't think that we as humans need to adjust for our environment. Maybe it means the environment needs to change for me, rather than me changing for my environment. Overall, thanks for joining for today.